This just in, final play between Clemson and Pittsburgh. Nate Yarnell gotta go to the end zone, and he gets picked off. Final play of the game is Clemson survive a Pitt fight back and take this one 24-20. It's their 5th straight win as they improve to 8-2, 7-1 in 8-2 overall. Pitt dropped to 7-3. 3 straight losses for Pitt, so that's tough for them. We were remembering when they were 7-0. So tough loss there for Pitt. It is Clemson that improved to 8-2.
And I'm pretty sure there's a party going on.
All right, welcome inside our HQ studios. Jeremy St. Louis alongside Danny Kanell and Cardale Jones. So Clemson survive here, Danny. They were close to 2 touchdown favorites, but managed to hold off the Pitt fight back. A win's a win.
Yeah, absolutely. A win is a win, especially when you were leading the game 17-7 most of the second half. And then all of a sudden you look up and it's 17-17. Then you look up and you're down 20-17 with under 2 minutes. And you're thinking, oh my goodness, this could devastate Clemson as a program. We talked a lot about what the loss against Louisville meant at home, how much it was this, felt like it was a crack in the foundation of everything that was Clemson. Well, they bounced back against Virginia. And then if you would have lost this game, I can't imagine the amount of fans from Clemson that would have been clamoring for changes to be made, you know, saying, where is this program headed? But just the simple fact that you were able to get that big Cade Klubnik rushing touchdown to get the win, secure the victory, salvages a season, which is still respectful. Like, if they can win and go 10-2, that's still remarkable success. But if you would have lost this game, Cardale, my goodness, it would have been a disaster.
Yeah, it would have been a disaster. Then it would have completely just eliminated you from the college football playoff contentions completely, outside of not having to control your destiny to make it to the ACC championship game. So Clemson, I know they're, survived this one by the skin of their teeth and had some great touchdowns last minute of the game, but you can't live and die by these type of situations and thinking you're going to be considered one of the top teams in the country.
Phil Maffa, one of the stories of the team coming into the game, but only had 17 yards rushing today. He was outrushed by his quarterback, Cade Klubnik, who, of course, had the 50-yard rush that basically sealed the game, and that's what you want from your quarterback, Cardale, or you want your quarterback to win this one for you.
I mean, he made a great play, man. Nothing was there. He pulled the ball down. All he had to do was get into field goal range, but he took it the distance.
What about Pitt at this point? I mean, there's such a great start to the season, Danny, but
it's still a good story. Let's remember, let's keep things in perspective. They were 3-9 a year ago. Pat Narduzzi comes into the season kind of on the hot seat as somebody who just won an ACC championship with Kenny Pickett in 21. They were that strong start. And don't look now, but the schedule's not getting any easier. Like, this thing, they still got a couple games left that are going to be pretty tough. Against Louisville is one of those games. So, but I still think you have to consider they lost Eli Holstein. Their starter didn't play in this game. They had an opportunity to win, and I'm not a big believer in moral victories, but I still think if you're a Pitt fan, you've got to look at a young quarterback in Holstein who, when you get him back healthy, he was still just a freshman. You bring in this new offense, which has infused some life into a program which has been a little bit more traditional offensively. So I still think it's, it stinks, and you're not happy right now if you're a Pitt fan, but when you step back and take a look at the entire season, they still had a really strong season and a step in the right direction.
When you look at Clemson and their path to the playoff, I mean, next week, the Citadel, right? And then they finish against South Carolina. So when you look at their path to the playoff, where are you at in terms of where you see them?
Well, they still control their own destiny. These next 2 games aren't conference games. So they can still represent, one of the 2 teams in the ACC, and then we all know those top 4 teams, those conference winners, are going to get that automatic bid and potential first-round bye. So at this point for Clemson, it's just like, let's tune up and get ready for Miami or a SMU, who we already saw, they haven't played either one of these teams yet, but that's what these teams are like, But it's going to be a lot of pressure on these guys getting that last win of the season versus in-state rivals, South Carolina. So there's still, we talk about Pitt not having an easy road. It's still going to be tough for Clemson as well.
I think their only road to get there is through the ACC championship title, because if they're a 2-loss team and they're not a conference champion, guess who else is probably a 2-loss team you're comparing resumes to? It's Georgia. And that 34-3 game just is so glaringly obvious. If you're comparing those 2 teams and you have a head-to-head matchup, I think Clemson gets bounced. So I think it's a very, very slim chance that Clemson gets to the playoff unless they can somehow get to the ACC championship game and win it.
I mean, one step today.
Yep.
Win at Pitt. Now they need Miami and SMU to cooperate in order to get them to the ACC title game. For a full wrap on everything that's happening in college football today, make sure you're listening to the Cover 3 podcast. The guys will go live tonight about 11:30 p.m. Eastern time as they start to recap all the games. As we've repeatedly mentioned throughout the season, that's way past Danny's bedtime, so Danny's not a part of that. I think Mackenzie's at the club by then, so she's not part of that.
She's at the door.
Yeah, so you can download and follow the Cover 3 wherever you get your podcasts, or you can scan that QR code, get the latest episode now, and you can watch the live recap tonight on YouTube.